start. Buenos dias. Unfortunately, almost the only words I speak in your language, but the real bad news is that my English is not much better. However, I try my best. In our agency, there are some very harsh rules. Just one example. When somebody holds a speech, any person in the audience is invited to leave the room in the moment when the speech has no value for her or him anymore and only kills time. We do this because exactly this happens in our job. We lose the attention of our audience, the consumers, when we start to bore them. They leave us in that moment. Let me invite you to treat me the same way. If I am boring you, feel free to leave without feeling guilty. And please allow me to thank everybody who does it. You really help me with that. You help me to remind me of the most important lesson every creative person has to learn and learn and learn, irrelevant which channel he uses. Be anything but boring. But please tell me if it's only the hunger that the reason. My name is Jean-Remy, and I would like to begin with some facts about my personal background. Then I will give you a short overview about the philosophy and the principles of our agency, enriched with some current work. 1952, I was born in Brussels and later raised in Switzerland. My parents wanted me to become a priest and put me in a convent school where I spent many years in a black monk dress. But this plan went wrong, and I preferred to become something rather unholy, like copywriter in advertising, mostly as well dressed in black. 1973, the world suffered from an oil crisis, and it was very hard to find a job in advertising. Good luck for me, because for this reason I was exiled to Germany and could start my career in a 10 times bigger market with much more possibilities. 1968, I worked very, very hard, and maybe that's why I had my first divorce, first of 3. But this was my lucky day, because my wife brought her new fiancé with her to the law court, Holger Jung, and he became my wonderful partner and soulmate. And then, 1991, we founded together our agency, Jung von Matt, and our perfect partnership, joining forces and avoiding envy, was decisive for our success. When we traveled, we always slept in one room in the early days because of cost, but we still do this today, as we think wealth is a bad reason to change good habits and to sleep in different rooms. 6 months after our start, we lost our founding client, the rent-a-car company Sixt. This was tough, but it taught us 3 important things. We had no clue about it before. Humbleness, economy, and fighting spirit. 15 years later, our agency had more than 1,000 people. But to be honest, I never was an entrepreneur. I'm just a creative who was forced to become entrepreneur because he dreamed of an agency that was not existing before, at least not in Germany. An agency that follows their own singular rules, thinks even more distinctively and executes even more radically. And from day one, we were eager to make things different, to search for new methods, new processes, new ideas of collaboration. We gave our agency a symbol that stands for great ideas, the Trojan horse, because we say, just like the Trojan horse, a great idea has to be appealing from the outside so that people welcome it, but conquering from the core. Then we thought about guiding principles. But the first 6 principles we found were rather conventional. So we looked out for a very memorable 7th statement. My partner came up with, "We don't play golf," meaning that we are not the type of people who wins clients while wining, dining, and playing golf. And we like this very much, till our chief financial guy commented, "I play golf." So we switched to, "We remain dissatisfied." And this 7th statement is still very significant for the way we work, especially our creative work. Then we always cared much about being a place where very different and as well difficult people, personalities, find their freedom. Years ago, I wanted to hire a creative. We had a wonderful interview and everything seemed to fit. But then he said, there is one last condition. I want to hack wood in my office. I need this as stress relief. Without, I'm not performing well. This is Henning. It was a bit scary, but of course we hired him and he's still with us. As our business today is attacked as well from consultant companies, it is even more important to conserve a singular, tolerant, creative culture. And I doubt that wonderful people like him would get a job from Accenture. Definitely, we had not only success. During all the years, there were lots of losses of talent, of clients, dramas, small scandals, medium scandals, bigger scandals, hiring flop, missed chances, bad luck. We were even forced to refresh our 3 learnings when we lost the international Mercedes-Benz account, which paid for over 200 people. But fortunately, our creative product remained stable. Consistently, we were ranked among the top 3 agencies in Germany, mostly number 1. 2013, we became Independent Agency of the Year at the Cannes Lions, last year again. And at last, let me tell you 3 points of difference that I think are essential for this creative track record. The first point is a greenhouse for talents. After finishing 7 years in a row as the number 1 in the German creative rankings and getting less and less press feedback for this, we asked ourselves, could we use the more than 1 million euro that we spend every year only for award entries for a more sustainable reason? Could we use this amount maybe to get better educated talent for our digital challenges? So we took a daring decision to enter only every 2nd year at award shows. It was very controversial in our agency, but we did it. And to take the saved money and open a very unique innovative academy where young creatives learn the skills for the digital age of communications. And today we are happy that this JVM Academy enriches our agency group every year with 15 to 20 well-educated and highly motivated talents. Our black box learnings. Every plane crash is horrible, but it has one single benefit, because every of these crashes offers learnings for the whole industry to make flying safer in the future. This simple fact we adopted for our crashes that happen unavoidably every week, failed productions, wrong castings, concepts that have no real idea, whatever. Usually agency people come together to show each other the work they are proud of. We invite our creative people regularly to show their poorest results. Films that nobody understood, presentations that ended in a disaster, etc. Most of our creatives hate these meetings. They prefer to show that the world is perfect and that they never fail. But I'm convinced that this small point made us better and better. Then my last point is called the stairway to excellence. Countless times I was asked what my criteria for great creative work are. And every time I gave a different answer, just because great ideas are too different to define them with a simple rule. Nevertheless, we developed a set of 3 steps to evaluate the level of a concept. We call it the stairway of excellence, or the stairway to excellence, and it says the following. The minimum demand is that the concept is exciting. So the first step is the concept exciting? This can be something humorous, it can be a very emotional story, something shocking, whatever, but if it does not excite anybody, does not evoke one single goosebump, we call it maybe a pragmatic solution, but not an idea. Here 3 examples that reached this minimum demand exciting. The first example was a film that announced the IoT ambitions of Bosch at the CES this year in Las Vegas.
With many connectivity solutions for a smarter future. From Bosch.
Thank you very much. The second example is a very successful Christmas fairy tale viral we did for a bank group in Eastern Europe. We like Christmas videos.
So this life has given everyone a present, beautiful, shiny and new. Everyone but you. Golden ribbons, diamonds line everyone's path that leads to wide open doors. Everyone's but yours. Wide open doors. Hold on, keep on, even when the road seems very long. Open your eyes, even if it's cold now. There's one thing you should know. Rain will turn into snow. All the rain turns to snow.
Thank you. And finally, a quite crazy event idea for a champagne brand. One of our creatives came up with this idea and I liked it very much. The problem was we had no client, we had no champagne client. And I traveled around for years to find one who wanted to invest in this idea. And finally, I found one.
I name you the Bluebird. I wish you and your pilot Godspeed and great success.
Die Rache einer Champagnerflasche bekam im Hamburger Fischereihafen.
Thank you. We did many ideas that reached this first level, including virals that reached more than 60 million views. The next step. And the next step is eccentric. This means that the idea is not only exciting, but also really different to all other ideas in the market. Here, two examples I consider as eccentric. The hardest part of the first idea was to bring together two companies that are actually competitors. One says, take the subway, the other says, better walk.
Berlin, the pulsing capital of Europe with a culture based in the underground and anti-establishment, which also means being anti-BVG, Berlin's public transport. Young Berliners hate BVG so much that if they're forced to use it, they don't even buy a ticket. How could we change hate to respect? By winning the respect of the hottest underground brand in the world, Adidas. With a limited edition BVG Adidas Originals EQT Berlin, the sneaker that's a yearly ticket for the BVG. The shoe's most iconic attribute is the camouflage pattern, existing in the train interior since the 90s. It also features the different transit symbols, a camouflage sole, and a tongue validating itself as a yearly ticket. It comes with 3 additional lace colors, all packaged in a special shoebox.
Jetzt ist ein neues Objekt der Begierde auf dem Markt.
Das gab's so auch noch nicht.
Insgesamt noch
With only 500 pairs being released at the Adidas flagship store at the cult sneaker store Overkill during Berlin Fashion Week, we expected hype, but not this.
In Kreuzberg stehen Fans seit Tagen für die neuesten limitierten Träger.
Einige kampieren bei Minusgraden und Regen seit Tagen vor.
Thousands of people showed up to both stores, and although there were just 500 pairs, there were more than double on the waiting list. After stores opened, the shoe sold out in only 3 hours.
Der erste, der den begehrten Schuh ergatterte.
The media reported the shoe around the globe, achieving media impressions of 10.6 billion. Finally, the cult sneaker resold for up to 3,500 euros, 2,000% above the original retail price of 180. And we had a lot of knockoffs. In the end, we made young Berliners pay for tickets and made not only Berlin, but the entire world pay their respect to BVG.
I sold mine for 300 euros, so it wasn't 3,000. The second idea is already some years old, but I still like to show it. It's for DHL.
In many countries, DHL has more locations, more vehicles, and more employees. That's why DHL is faster. However, to communicate this with a classic advertising campaign is expensive. So why couldn't the competitors advertise for DHL? For that purpose, giant packages were taped all over with thermoactive foil and cooled down below the freezing point. In this way, the competitors picked up a black package that transformed back at temperatures above freezing and delivered the message in the most beautiful colors to addresses in the city that were not that easy to find. After all, they were paid reasonably. The result, an innovative way to communicate. And everyone played along. Well, almost everyone. Thank you very much.
Now to the top step of our stairway. This asks, is your idea maybe more than exciting and eccentric? Is it even, what could it be? Experimental. So this means, is it absolutely new in the world, technically never seen, even risky because there is no predecessor? To be honest, we seldom reach this step. I'm not sure, but maybe we did it with my last example, I'm not sure. It was for the biggest German food market chain, Edeka, a wonderful client that allows a lot of great creative work. Let me show you my last example.
I will build a great, great wall.
Heute sind wir tolerant und morgen fremd im eigenen Land.
Victors!
please don't come.
Es ist heute ein Experiment, wo wir alle Produkte rausgenommen haben, die nicht aus Deutschland kommen.
Kaffee nicht, kein Tee, keine Schokolade.
Oh, keine Schokolade.
Nein.
No, it's not a German product. I'm sorry.
Das ist doch Unsinn. Wir sind doch ein offenes Land und erst recht nicht jetzt German first.
Good morning, Britain. The news: a grocery chain in Germany removed all of the foreign food.
German supermarket Edeka in Hamburg made a statement against racism and celebrated diversity.
มันเป็นซูเปอร์มาร์เก็ตในอัลมาเนียที่จะแสดงออกให้ผู้คนเข้าใจว่า
Gracias.